I don't want you setting a standard that you can't keep up.
Be mindful of that. Be mindful of what you're projecting and make it work to your advantage.
God didn't put you on this earth to have low self-worth. You are worthy. You have great value. You are someone special. Because in being yourself, being your best self, you will then come across the person who likes that person and is gonna love your expression of interest. The right man is trying to figure out if you like him as much as he likes you.
3 quick tips to make yourself more attractive immediately, all right? And then we're gonna go into a Q&A before we wrap this up. I usually have 5, but I'm gonna try to give you the top 3. All right, these are the simple things you can start doing. It works for everybody, all right? Because I want people to understand that some people may feel like, well, I don't look as good as this person. No, everyone has the ability to be more attractive. It's not as hard as we think. So tip number 1, smell good. I don't care who you are, all right? When you smell good, everybody gets a little bit cuter. At least a little bit, all right? It works for everybody. The crazy thing is we don't use it enough when we're single, and then when we get in relationships, we stop doing it. Why? Sense of smell is serious. It is powerful. It has an impact. Go down to your store, get your perfumes, get your colognes, make it happen. It works, all right? Smell good. Tip number 2. Wear clothes that fit you. Let me explain, all right? Again, quick fixes I'm giving y'all here. With the men, real quick, I challenge any man, buy an outfit that's a little loose, put it on, take a picture. Buy that same outfit, buy a more slim fit that fits your body, take a picture. Show it to 10 women. I can almost guarantee you 9 out of 10, if not all 10, will pick the slim fit one. All right? When you wear clothes that fit you, it makes you look more well put together. You look more confident. It projects the right energy. Loose fitting clothes makes you look sloppy. It makes you look ungathered. It looks unfocused. It does not work to your advantage. Same thing with women. Sometimes you're getting so caught up trying to wear that outfit that looks cute to you that it don't realize it don't look cute on you. All right? Stop doing that. Find what works for you, what accentuates your positives, not brings out your negatives. Like, you got to be mindful of that. You don't have to look like no one else. You got to look like you and what looks good for you. Find that thing that you can, when you see in the mirror, you're like, all right, I like this. I feel good in this. That's what you want, because again, how you feel about yourself projects confidence and projects the positive energy that you need to generate better results. And then the last thing real quick I'm going to throw out there is the colors you wear. Y'all weren't expecting that one, huh? So colors give off energy, all right? They give off a certain perception, and we don't understand the power of them, and we don't use them enough to our advantage. So I'm not going to be able to get into, well, maybe later I will be, but one of the things that we have a big problem with is in today's world, a lot of women are giving off a lot of masculine, strong energy, all right? There's a lot of reasons for that. We can talk about that later, but the point is, I had a client once. She comes off very masculine, very strong. I had a house appointment with her. I said, okay, let's look at your closet. Looked at her closet, all dark, black, hunt green, navy blue, dark, 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 dark. I'm like, this is the problem. You already hard as it is, and then you got all these hard colors. It's not gonna work for you. We had to lighten up her wardrobe. So for women, wearing lighter colors, brighter colors, this is going to work more to your advantage. It exudes more positive feminine energy. Men, blacks, dark blues, red, that works more for men. Now, it doesn't mean you can't switch it up. It doesn't mean women can't wear black or men can't wear some, nice, pretty color, whatever. It just means it just means that you do want to have a dominant color scheme in your wardrobe, and men, it's better for the dominant scheme to be more dark, women to be more colorful. To give you an example of how color changes perception of people, if y'all saw a man walking down the street and he was wearing a pink shirt, light blue pants, just all kind of pastel-y colors and looking all just nice, whatever, all right? What are y'all gonna think? I heard gay a few times. All right, so let me explain something to you. That man could be the most masculine man on the face of this earth. Could have never done a gay thing in his life. But because, all right, he wore pink and pastel colors, y'all will think he's gay. That's the point. The colors you wear project a certain message, intentional or not. Be mindful of that. Be mindful of what you're projecting and make it work to your advantage. All these little things can help. And I guarantee you try them immediately, you're going to start seeing the difference.
Unhealthiness, so much can go wrong because we lack self-worth. And I don't want that to happen to any of you, man or woman. So I want to give you some guidance on how you can start improving in this area right away, because doing so is so essential to living a higher quality of life. All right. And also God didn't put you on this earth to have low self-worth. You are worthy. You have great value. You are someone special. All right. And you deserve wonderful and amazing things. And I want you to embrace that reality. So here are some steps. Number one, stop taking things personally. Now, I know it's easier said than done, but taking things personally is one of the greatest deteriorators of self-worth. Because when we take things personally, we internalize the things that people say and do to us, or even just what we come across, and we personalize it rather than realizing it's not always about us. And when we learned how to not to take things so personally, how to not be so offended by everything someone says, you will find yourself being able to stay on a more positive path. How to keep your mind in a healthier place. All right. So it's important to guard yourself in that way. And again, not guard yourself as in have walls up. Just guard yourself in the sense that I'm not going to let this negative energy penetrate my spirit, penetrate my mind, because then it can wreak havoc within our body, in our emotional state, and cause all kinds of problems, as well as mentioned, decreasing our self-worth. So even the people who have done things to you in the past, it's a symptom of hurt people hurting people. They did it because they're caught up in their own emotions. It's not really about you, all right, or how they're even viewing you in that moment. It's about the issues within them. So do not internalize it. Do not take things personally. Learn how to shake it off. Again, this will take some time to master, so practice it, all right? Practice choosing not to be offended. You can make that choice. I hear things being said about all kinds of, about men, about black men, or about whatever. I don't get offended. You know what? That's y'all problem. It ain't mine. I'm not letting that put me in a negative place. That's how I want you to approach it. Like, you know what? Let those people talk all the negativity they want. It has nothing to do with you. Even when they want to attack you, they're attacking you because they have issues. Plain and simple. All right. So do not internalize. Do not internalize. Now, number two, start setting some goals in your life. All right. It is hard to have great self-worth when we don't feel like we're doing anything with our lives, when we don't feel like we've accomplished anything. However, being productive, all right, reaching goals, accomplishing things makes us feel better. Period. That's just the way it works. And so it will be very good and healthy for you to start setting some goals. Now, they can be some long-term ones, some short-term ones. I think you should have a mixture of all, because you want to make sure you give yourself small goals to easily accomplish, all right, but can create momentum, a momentum of progress and productivity. Then you want to have the kind of those mid-level goals. And then you want to have the bigger ones, all right? And some of them might be, all right, you got some weekly goals, maybe some daily goals. You got some goals for the next 6 months, the goals for the year. And you don't have to look too far ahead. I don't really believe in like saying, okay, well, I got to be here in 5 years, because so many twists and turns can happen in our life. But at the very least, I can shoot for things this year. At the very least, I can focus on what I need to accomplish this week. And again, when you start to feel more productive, when you're hitting your goals, it's going to make you feel better about yourself. All right. As well as keep you in a more positive mindset, keep you productive so that you are growing as an individual. And in that growth, you're going to gain even more self-worth as well. So it just works very well when you set goals in your life. So start identifying some things and let's make that happen. Number three, learning how to be alone and happy. Now, let me be very clear here. I don't mean you need to be alone forever. I don't mean you need to be such a loner that you don't want anyone around you. I mean that you need to get to a place where you don't need other people in order to generate happiness in your life. All right. That you, even when you are alone, can still create and be happy, can still be positive, that you are not at the mercy of having company. You're not at the mercy of having to be in a relationship, because those who are afraid to be alone start to entertain and tolerate individuals who don't belong in their life. They start to not have a high level of self-worth because they desperately want to attach themselves to anyone who can provide them with companionship. And this is going to set you on a path of more brokenness and damage. So again, the goal isn't to be alone forever. The goal isn't to not want anybody around you ever. The goal is simply finding peace and happiness when you are by yourself. You may still desire a partner in a relationship. You may still have even more fun when you can be around people, because some of us are just more social than others. That's perfectly fine. But you have to have mastered your aloneness, your solitude, in a way that it doesn't drive you to a negative place and into dealing with the wrong people and in the wrong situations. That's the key. And when we can do that, we will increase our self-worth, and we will value not just the time we give to others, all right, and the time that we pour into ourselves as well. So it's very important to learn how to be happy while you are alone. So next on this list, number 4, is start taking better care of yourself health-wise. So listen, I'm just going to run through it really fast, because at the end of the day, when we feel better, all right, and when I say feel better, when we start to take better care of ourselves and we start to feel better from a physical sense, our mind starts to be more positive. We start to be more happy. We start to be more productive. When you're not taking care of yourself, you start to be more fatigued, more stressed out. You may get more anxiety. So much can go wrong because we are not giving our body what it needs, all right? And we're running it ragged. We're letting life run us into the ground. You've got to take control of that and take steps towards greater health. You need more sleep, all right? You got to get some rest. Too many of you are operating on 4 or 5 hours of sleep, and that's not enough for you. You need time to relax and recharge. You need more hydration, drinking more water, all right? The body is consumed or is made up of mostly water. It's essential to our bodies. And when you start to drink enough and more water, and quality water as well, all right, because there is something to that, then that's going to play very well in your mood, in your energy, in your focus, and so on. You got to start to eat better. All right, now I know we're not going to all choose the same things. I'm a plant-based eater. I highly believe in it. I think you should consider it, but I know everyone's not going to go that route. Even if you don't want to become plant-based, just start making better choices with the food you eat. Start limiting the processed food. Start limiting the sugar. Start limiting the dairy. Start limiting the things that don't agree with your body. And so you can go get a food allergy test. You know what I'm saying? You can go get a blood type test. See what foods now agree with your blood type. What foods will your body react to negatively, so that you can start creating a diet. And when I say diet, more of a lifestyle of eating that's going to be more beneficial to you, all right? So be mindful of that. And of course, exercise as well. Listen, we're not going to all be buff and lifting weights in the gym, but get some kind of activity in your daily routine, or at least a few days out of the week. You want to get the blood flowing. You want to get things going, because again, when we start to feel good internally, all right, we start to feel good about who we are emotionally and mentally. We start to have a greater level of self-worth because we like what we see in the mirror, because we have a more positive outlook, because our minds are not being contaminated by the negative things that we have been putting in our body previous to this video, because I'm going to believe that you're going to make the changes and you're going to start to see the positive results. So start taking better care of yourself if you want to increase your self-worth. And last but not least, number 5 is you need to heal from your past. All right. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I have the book Love After Heartbreak, which literally gives you the steps to healing. It is my Stephan Speaks healing method that I've given to thousands of clients in the past, and it has worked for them. I'm not just saying that, that's for real. Those who have done the steps have seen the results, have seen the progress, have completely changed their lives in a positive manner. So this book lays it out for you, and a lot of other things you need to start to understand. Get your copy, click the link below in the description or in the comments section, also available on Amazon. But anyways, to get back to this healing thing, a lot of people lack self-worth because they're still holding on to the damage from their past. It goes into the internalizing of what people have done to us and how we've dwelled in it, how maybe you swept it under the rug and you thought you were fine, but you're not, all right? And how we're holding on to these negative experiences that have now shaped the way that we view ourselves. All right. And we have to let go. We have to process these emotions. We have to release this negative energy from our spirit so that now we can get back to a healthier place. You can't be trying to pile a bunch of good things like, okay, well, I'm going to now say affirmations and I'm going to do these positive things that I mentioned earlier in the video, which is great. You should, but you can't overlook the healing part because all you're doing is piling good stuff on a messy foundation. You gotta get rid of the garbage, so to speak. All right, you gotta flesh that out, and when you do, you're gonna be able to absorb the positive things even more, and you're gonna be able to feel better about yourself, and you're gonna have a renewed sense of self and a renewed sense of love and life and just all that awaits you in this world. So be sure to heal, and I feel the need to say this right now. For some of you, your brokenness stems from anger or resentment you have towards God. Some of you feel like God lets you down, all right? And in the book, it explains how God may be someone you have to address in order to heal. But I want you to know that God loves you. God has always been there for you, but sometimes we don't understand the method to the madness. We don't understand the process we are being taken through, but if we lean on God and we trust Him, then know you will get what is good for you. Your life will become better than you could have ever expected. And despite all that you've been through, you are still blessed. You still have so much to live for and so much to look forward to. And my spirit just felt the need to share that with you. But again, it just boils down to you need to heal. And when you heal, you will be able to have a greater level of self-worth. Even though I acknowledge that there are some good dating coaches and there are some good dating advice being told on YouTube, if we're honest, there are also some bad advice being given. And so I want to give you what I felt is some healthy, effective advice. That's the key. Not tips and tricks, not games to play. Healthy advice that will lead to healthier relationships and more successful experiences. All right. So let's start off with number one. Be yourself. Now, I know that sounds super cliche. Everybody says be yourself. You know, you're your only copy. I forgot what the quote says. Anyways, the point is, yes, it may sound cliche, but it's extremely important for you to understand and embrace. And here's the reason why. So many people are dating with their representative, trying to be something they're not in order to catch their desired choice, trying to, again, increase their chances in their eyes of receiving somebody. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some things that we should be improving about ourselves that will make us better candidates, that will increase our chances of getting who we desire or who is best for us, because that should be the real goal. However, you have to locate or understand the difference between enhancing yourself and being something you're not. I do not want you to be something you're not, because now the pitfall is if you show them your representative and they fall in love with that or become attached to that, because in reality it's not really love in those situations, then what happens is when your true self comes out, they don't want it anymore. They start acting funny. They feel like they've been bamboozled and hoodwinked, and now we have battles going on. Now you guys aren't on the same page and everything falls apart. So you would have spent all those months, all that time, maybe even years, trying to get them and keep them, only to lose them because you were never true to who you were. Not to mention that after you get them, you may come to the realization you don't even want them. You might be like, dang, I can't keep up this facade, or who I thought I wanted, that time or that moment has passed, and I realize now they don't fit my life. And so rather than getting stuck, because that's what happens to a lot of people, they get stuck, all right, because they fought so hard to get this, they invested so much into this individual, they become unhealthily attached to that individual. And now walking away becomes very difficult. So to save yourself all the headache, to increase the chances of receiving who's best for you, because in being yourself, being your best self, you will then come across the person who likes that person, who embraces that person, who wants to pour into the real you. And when you find that, now you win. Now you win. So save yourself the struggle, save yourself the headache, be yourself. And if you don't know what being yourself even means right now, well, then you got to find yourself. So that's a little bonus to this number one, is make sure you find yourself. Make sure you know who you are and love who you are. And with that self-love, you will again increase the chances of receiving all that's for you, including an amazing partner, an amazing relationship. The number two tip for dating, all right, is do not waste your time. So one of the reasons why so many people are exhausted with this dating process is because too many individuals are letting situations linger on way longer than they should, all right? Allowing people to remain in their lives that should have been gone a long time ago, and all that's doing is draining them and depleting them, as well as causing more damage to them emotionally and mentally, which now, if you don't heal from, you will carry on to your next situation, and it will set you up to end up with the wrong person. So you've got to be really mindful of not wasting your time and learning how to cut things off very quickly. I always say, get them in, get them out. Evaluate, move on. If they're not for you, they're not for you. If you see red flags, address them. If they're not corrected, keep it moving. But do not try to keep the situation going because you're feeling alone, because you just want to give this a chance. You don't know if you're going to have any better options. Fear of, starting all over and having to meet someone new. So many different possible reasons, but one way or another, none of those reasons are good enough to keep this going when this is not the right fit. All right. And the quicker you can get them out of the way, the quicker you can be available to receive someone who is. And you have to understand that in dating, sometimes it's a numbers game. Sometimes it's about, listen, we have to be able to meet several people before we finally get to the one. But if we allow the wrong people to stick around too long, we throw everything off. So the better you get at cutting people off, and again, not cutting people off like in a nasty, negative, rude way, but simply recognizing, okay, this isn't it. They're not the one, even when they are a great person. Sometimes they can be a great guy or a great woman, but they're not the right person for you. So you got to understand that. Don't try to force the issue. Recognize this is not it. Recognize we just don't have that thing, that it factor there, whatever, all right, or we're not on the same page, or they're not willing to pour into your needs, or vice versa, and get them out the way. Do not waste your time when you are dating. Dating tip number 3, all right, that you need to focus on is focus on the positive, but be prepared for the negative. Here's what I mean. Too many people are going into their dating experiences projecting negativity. They're very guarded. They're waiting for that next pin to drop. They're waiting for that mistake to happen. They're on guard with the red flags. And not that you shouldn't be aware of the red flags, but you're just seeking them out. You're looking for something to be a problem, or you're putting in your head that this is not going to work out before you even gave it a chance to work out. Do not project negative onto your experiences. Not to mention that when you do that, you carry negative energy. And a lot of times it's your negativity that's pushing them away. It's your negativity that's setting this whole situation left. You got to realize that you are setting yourself up for failure when you keep thinking so negative and carry all that negative energy. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy because that's all you're putting out into the world. So you've got to project positivity. You got to come in thinking this could work out. This could be a great experience. Even if they're not the one, I may learn something new. I may enjoy myself in the process, and I'm going to focus on that. I'm going to focus on doing those things because that will then increase your positive energy, increase the chances of a positive outcome, all right? As well as allow you to see more clearly if this is really it or not. It is really hard to properly evaluate and see things for what they are when you're looking through broken glasses. And to carry that negativity, to project that negativity onto the situation, you're essentially looking through broken glasses because you're broken from the inside. And that's not to insult you. That's just a reality of the emotional and mental damage you've gone through in life from previous experiences or childhood, so on and so forth. So you've got to get to a positive, healthier place, and that will allow you to see things much more clearly, all right? But like I said, I want you to project the positive and think positive, but I want you to be prepared for the negative. And what I mean by that is this. We have to understand that, yes, it may not work out. Yes, they may not be the one for us, and that's perfectly fine. If we understand that coming in, rather than just being focused on this has got to work or I don't know what I'm going to do, then we can handle the disappointment when it comes, or it won't even be a huge disappointment. It'll just be a fact of life. Hey, you know what? I met a great person or I met someone, it didn't work. I'm moving on. It's all good. And that way you don't carry any negativity from that situation onto the next. So it's important that, yes, we have to understand that things won't always go the way that we want them to, all right? And that, yes, people may do some foolish, ridiculous nonsense when we're trying to date them. That may happen, but we don't need to internalize it. We don't need to dwell on it. We just need to accept it for what it is, recognize it not for us, and keep it moving. So project the positive, but yes, be prepared for the negative. Dating tip number 4. And before I give you that tip, let me just tell you, if you want to or you should join my free text community. I left the link below in the description and in the comment section as well. I'm flashing it on the screen right now for you to see. Join the free community. You get inspirational texts and motivation. People are loving it and enjoying it. You'll also get special offers. And again, it's free. So it costs you nothing and there's plenty of benefits from it. So join the free text community today. But now back to dating tip number 4 from a dating coach. Make sure you have healed. All right. So if you notice, I kind of alluded to it in the other tips. We have to make sure that we are not carrying past baggage and past trauma into new situations. And for a lot of people, if not most people, if not damn near all people, their dating struggles stem from a lack of healing. And that lack of healing blinds you from seeing what you need to see. It sets you up to become unhealthily attached to the wrong individuals. It's unhealthily attached to any individual is a problem, all right? But either way, it causes havoc in your life. And again, as I've said many times before, it is more than likely going to set you up to be with the wrong person. So the best thing for you to do for yourself is before you even try to jump back into dating, and if you're in it right now, maybe take a step back and focus on healing first. And understand that healing is not just from past romantic relationships. It's from all the hurt in your life. Mother, father, siblings, whoever hurts you, you've got to heal from it. And when you flush that negative energy out of your system, it will help you find your true self. It will help you love yourself more. It will help you better evaluate people when you meet them. It will help you stay away from toxic relationships. It will help you embrace the love that's truly for you. So be sure to heal. And you know what? I wasn't going to mention it, but I got to. Go get the book, Love After Heartbreak. I'll also put that link in the description. It is the book that will give you the steps to healing. All right. Check it out. Very, very beneficial. So many people are gaining great things from it. All right. So you need to heal if you want to have better dating experiences and ultimately an amazing relationship. So number 5 on the list of dating tips from a dating coach, all right, is do not dwell in disappointment. Now, I kind of mentioned it earlier, but let me shed a little bit more light on this. Again, part of the problem or part of the struggle people face is that they go through a disappointing situation in their dating process and they dwell in that disappointment and they stay in that negative place. All right. And so it's understandable that, the hurt is going to bring you down and you're feeling some kind of way and you don't feel like putting yourself back out there. But the problem is dwelling there is blocking you from actually experiencing something successful. The reality is that love can come at any time when you least expect it. But if you're busy dwelling in disappointment, holding on to hurt, holding on to your past, you're not going to be available to receive it. Hell, even if you meet that love, because you're still dwelling in the disappointment, you won't be able to embrace that love. You may reject it. There have been plenty of people who came across that person, but they were not emotionally ready to handle it. So you don't want to set yourself up for failure by allowing yourself to dwell in disappointment or to get discouraged. Again, we have to understand that there's going to be wins and losses. There's going to be good experiences and there may be some bad experiences, but it's all part of the process. We got to take what we can learn. We got to enjoy the moments that we can, but we got to keep moving forward. And as long as you keep moving forward, you stay positive, you make sure you healed, you learn how to not waste your time. I'm just running down some of these earlier tips. You will set yourself up for success. So be mindful of that. Do not dwell. Give yourself a short period of grieving, so to speak, if you want. I have a rule of no more than 3 days. All right. I'll go through my process, and I'm saying that's just in general, like not necessarily dating, but anything in life that hurts me, disappoints me, whatever the case may be, the maximum amount of days that I'll let myself grieve, so to speak, is 3 days. And I go through the process of kind of healing and flushing things out within that so that by day 4, I'm ready to go and get back on track. All right. Now, for some of you, it might be quicker than that, especially depending on how impactful the situation was. But one way or another, do not let the dwelling linger on. You got to get back on the horse and ride and make things happen. So do not dwell in disappointment. The number 6 dating tip for you to be mindful of is self-reflect and keep improving. So again, one of the mistakes that we're making in dating is that we're not learning any lessons. Like we're literally going on these dates. We have, whether it be a good experience or a bad experience, but we're not taking kind of a mental note in the sense of, okay, what could I do better? What could be adjusted? Maybe where did I go wrong? Yes, be willing to look at yourself in the mirror and hold yourself accountable for something that you could have improved or handled differently. Doesn't mean beat yourself up. Please do not beat yourself up because we all make mistakes. We're going to get some things right. We're going to get some things wrong. But you want to learn in a way that strengthens you and makes you a better person. Because again, you can use this dating process as a way to sharpen your skills, so to speak, as a way to really hone your skills so that when you get to the right one, you're going to be even more on point. And when you take that approach, you're able to enjoy the process more. You're able to go with the flow more, not in a I don't know where I'm headed, but in a way of I can accept the ups and downs. I can accept that sometimes it's going to go the way I want and sometimes it won't. But one way or another, I'm going to learn from this. And by learning, I'm going to become better for this. And I'm going to implement these things that I've learned into my new experiences. I'm going to learn how to better communicate. I'm going to learn how to get more in tune with someone. I'm going to learn how to better address the red flags. I'm going to become more comfortable in expressing myself. Do you see where I'm going with this? These are things that people tend to not learn no matter how many times it's failed them in their experiences because they're too busy focused on the failure or the disappointment and not on the lesson to be learned. So continue to self-reflect in a way that you can make yourself better. Be open to correction, be open to self-improvement. And when you do that, you will set yourself up for greater success. And then the last tip, number 7 on dating tips from a dating coach, the best dating tips from a dating coach is focus on connection. Listen, if you've heard or watched any of my previous videos or been to my shows or read any of my books, you know I am huge on connection. Now, I won't get too deep into breaking down connection today, but I will say that look at connection as your spirit recognizing its match. It is a deep spiritual experience that many have experienced in their life. Some of you may not have yet, but I'm confident in saying you more than likely will at some point. It is like no other. It separates this individual from all the other people you dealt with. And it's more than just having chemistry. It's more than just feeling like you're compatible. It's more than just everything looks good on the surface. It goes so much deeper than that. And that connection is what we need to strengthen and hold our relationships together. Many relationships are failing because they do not have connection. People are getting caught up on the initial hype, and again, how that person's resume looks, and also the fantasy they're projecting or what they want to believe this relationship can be or who this person can be, but not the reality and who this person is and what this relationship is showing you right now. But connection is something that goes so much deeper because we cannot create a connection, nor can we destroy it. It's either there or it's not. And when you experience it, again, it hits you like nothing else has ever hit you. So focus on finding the person you have a connection with, because with that individual, everything else can work out. Everything else can be worked through. All right? Because you guys see each other in a way that others don't. You guys will be able to get on the same page better than you can with other individuals. And so again, I know this topic needs a lot more explanation, but I'm just going to plant this seed in you if you haven't heard about it yet. And for those of you who have, you know what I'm talking about. Let's embrace it because connection is the key. It can be so frustrating for a woman to meet a guy, to feel like, I like this guy. Things are going well. Everything seems to be moving in the right direction. And then you finally decide to really open up, really let him in, really let him know you like him too. You're showing your interest, and then all of a sudden, he's acting funny. He pulls away. His interest is gone. What the hell happened? Well, I'm going to tell you what happened. I'm going to tell you why he loses interest when you show yours. My name is Stephan Laboussiere, aka Stephan Speaks, here to provide you with life, dating, and relationship advice. Today is going to be dating advice for women. All right, breaking down this frustrating dynamic of why he loses interest when you show yours. Now, before we get into this, be sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, share this video, because there's going to be a lot of other women that need to see this or are going through this right now. And as always, leave your comment below. Have you experienced this to where once you showed interest, this man pulled back, started acting funny, or the whole thing blew up in your face? So now let's break this down. So the simple, easy answer to give right off the bat is he was not really into you like that. But of course, this needs further explanation, all right? So again, let's repaint the picture. You meet a man. You're starting to get to know him. You like this man. You see like there's potential here, all right? And he's showing you interest. He's actually seeming like he's making some level of an effort, all right? And everything seems to be moving in a good direction. And initially, you may have been cautious, because you're trying to feel him out. You're trying to make sure you can trust being vulnerable with him and opening up or expressing your interest and desire. But at some point, you decide, okay, I'm going to do that. I'm ready to do that now. You take that step, and now things change. And now he starts to act funny. He starts to pull away, and it becomes a very confusing, hurtful situation. And so again, I say to you, in the vast majority of cases, all right, because there's multiple explanations here. But the first one is he wasn't that interested. And what I mean by that is this. Some men are coming into your life And what they desire is to entertain you at a more casual level. Whether it be for sex, whether it be just to hang out, whatever. Usually it does involve some level of sex, but there are scenarios where he really just wants the woman in his life, even if he's not trying to be sexual right now. But either way, he wants you at this more casual level, not a committed level. And so what happens is when you are holding back, it allows the situation to continue in a casual, vague manner. All right. There is no intention being given. There is no, okay, we're going to be together in a few months. None of that. There is no higher level of commitment or obligation. And he's comfortable in that space with you. But then once you show interest, express a desire for more in the relationship, he pulls away because it's like, this is not what I was trying to sign up for. He liked you at the casual level. He liked you when you held back because that allowed him to continue on being vague. But once you now start to become intentional, that demands him to be intentional. That demands him to be more clear with his feelings for you. And because he's not trying to operate at that level with you, no fault of your own, so don't internalize it. But because he's not trying to go there, he now pulls away. Now, the reason why this is important for you to understand this whole dynamic is because what I'm seeing with a lot of women is they experience this dynamic of showing interest, him losing interest. And now they start to think, or you have started to think, that the showing of the interest is the problem. That if you like a man, you need to hold back or else he will run. And what you don't realize is, no, you're actually shooting yourself in the foot because, again, think about what I just said. When you expressed your interest, you exposed the reality that he was not trying to be serious with you. So if you now take on this mindset of, I'm going to hold back because showing interest backfires on me, you won't be able to expose future men. You won't be able to expose them soon enough. You will allow these other men to now think they can continue to operate in this casual dynamic and that you're actually okay with it because you're holding back your true feelings and desires. What you have to learn is no, don't let yourself think your expression of interest is the problem. Realize it was you were dealing with the wrong man. Because the right man is going to love your expression of interest. The right man is trying to figure out if you like him as much as he likes you. So he welcomes your desire. He welcomes your expression. He does not run from that. Running is a clear sign that that man was not serious. So use that to your advantage. Do not shoot yourself in the foot and now say, I'm going to hold this back. That's only going to work against you. Now, here's another possible scenario. I don't believe this is the common scenario, but it is possible. Some situations are this man likes you. He may be thinking about you in a future sense and trying to make something happen, but he may have damage from his past that causes him to be afraid to be truly vulnerable. And so now when you express your interest and desire, it's like stuff just got real. It's like, holy crap, now I have to put my heart out there in a way that scares me. And because that scares me, I'm going to run. I'm going to pull back because I am not ready for that level of vulnerability and essentially commitment. All right. Now, again, the result of what you should do is still the same. Because whether he is not ready because he just wasn't serious and doesn't see you that way, or whether he's not ready because he hasn't healed, the same answer is he's not ready. And so regardless, that needs to be exposed as soon as possible. Now, that doesn't mean for you to be like all extra and just like force your expression of interest. I want you to be natural with it, but I don't want you to be afraid or hold it back because again, that's only working against you. So there are there are some situations that the man has a fear of vulnerability, a fear of that higher level of commitment and obligation. And so when you now take that step in your expression, he runs from that. But let's get back to him not being the guy. So again, this extends to not just showing interest. This extends to you being open, honest, and transparent about your feelings in various ways, all right? This also extends to you being willing to ask questions. So many women are afraid of asking questions or bringing certain topics up because the mindset is this will scare away the man. And my argument is always, it's not the question or the expression of interest. It may be the energy behind it. And what I mean by that is, starting with the question part, if you're asking a man questions in a very interrogating way, in a very domineering way, there's a lot of negative energy. You're essentially attacking him with your energy. That's what turns a man off. But if you speak to him lovingly, sweet, in a calm, positive manner, and again, the caveat is he's serious about you, he does see potential here, then he's not going to have a problem with that. Men who genuinely want a relationship with you don't take issue with you asking questions in a loving and calm manner, because the man who loves you wants to provide you with clarity and peace. The man who's not serious about you has no issue giving you confusion and chaos. Plain and simple. So again, you cannot be afraid to ask the questions, but you also cannot be afraid to express your desire. Because again, I can't tell you how many times I've sat down with men who are trying to court a woman, trying to date her, but they're not sure where she stands. They're not sure how she feels. And I think women don't realize how many men have been played. How many men have tried to do their best for a woman they were serious about, only to be left high and dry later. And in the process of that, they weren't really sure where she stood. But because men are being told, you got to keep doing your best, even when she wants to hold back, they get set up for disaster. They get set up to be played. And for some men who have been through that trauma, they now become fearful. They now are sensitive or less tolerant of the woman who's not reciprocating interest, who is not expressing herself in the way that he is willing, or even when he's not, he still feels like, well, dang, if she's serious about me, why can't she show me that? Why can't she express that? Because there are some other women who will. And so when other women will and you won't, it causes him to think, well, maybe it's because she's not serious, or maybe because she's going to play me like the other women. Now, if you're a man listening to this, I'm going to encourage you to get healing. I'm going to encourage you to not project that onto any woman. The same way I would encourage a woman not to project the negative outcome of when the last time you expressed interest and he left you high and dry. Don't project that onto the new man. Everyone needs to heal and not bring that emotional baggage from previous experiences into a new one. However, as a woman, you still need to be mindful of this on your end and understand that you are best set up for success by being willing to express and show your interest. So interestingly enough, there's a book, and I always forget the title of the book. I am so sorry, all right? It's not one of mine. I read other books too. But anyways, the book essentially did surveys of couples after they got married. So basically after getting their license, leaving the office, and they would survey these couples and ask the guys all kinds of questions. But one of the questions was, why did you marry this woman? All right. And one of the most popular answers they received was, because she liked me. Let me repeat that. One of the most popular answers to the question of why did you marry this woman is because she liked me. And what that is trying to convey is that men are so used to being in a position that they have to pursue, show the interest. Some people are even trying to tell men to chase, which I don't tell men to do that. I don't encourage that. But there are people saying, chase the woman, jump through all the hoops, show her you love her, right? But in that process, what's happening is those men are not receiving reciprocation. They're not being shown that interest and desire as much as some may think. And so then what happens is when a woman comes along who's willing to give that in return, who's willing to express that interest and desire, who's willing to even take an interest in what that man needs. I was just talking on social media the other day, having a chat about how powerful it is for a woman to ask a man, what makes you happy? What would you need from me? How can I pour into you? Y'all don't realize that's not a question a lot of women ask. So it's so powerful when a woman is willing to express desire and interest and take a reciprocal approach to this relationship rather than a sit back and wait, you got to show me everything. I understand why you're guarded. I understand why you may be afraid to express that interest, but I want to encourage you that there is a better approach, and that better approach is being open and honest. That better approach is healing from your past experiences and trauma and allowing yourself to be more vulnerable in your process of dating and trying to build a relationship, because that's how you will expose who's serious. That's how you will strengthen the relationship that it can go somewhere. That's how you can discover who is truly the man God has for you. Men, I want you to be successful on your dates. I want you to get what you're looking for. So I'm going to lay out for you the easiest ways to impress any woman on the first date. My name is Stephan, your life, dating, and relationship coach, providing you today with dating advice for men. All right, we're going to be talking about, again, the easiest ways to impress any woman on the first date. As always, be sure to like this video, share it, and comment below. Tell me some of the things you feel are easy ways to impress any woman. Now, listen, what women like and need can vary and vary, from woman to woman. However, again, what I'm going to lay out for you today is pretty much universal. It's going to be very difficult to find a woman who wouldn't find it at least a nice thing to see a man doing what I'm about to tell you, all right? So be mindful of these things. Now, let me make this real clear. I do not want you to be something you're not. I do not want you to do these things if you're not going to become the man who can do them consistently. I don't want you to look at these as tricks to manipulate the situation. That's not what we're here for. I'm trying to help you succeed so you can have healthy relationships, healthy, successful dating experiences. I'm trying to make things better in a positive way. So any kind of manipulation and game playing, we're not here for that, all right? So let me lay out for you the easiest ways to impress any woman on the first date. Number one, plan the date. Now listen, I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I'm a serial non-planner, okay? Like, it doesn't matter if it's dates, if it's my tour events, I'm not the greatest at planning, but though that is a weakness of mine, I can still acknowledge the power of a man who was willing to plan, or at least the power it has on impressing that woman. A lot of women view your willingness to plan and your ability to execute as good leadership, as effort, as genuine desire for her. She translates that into a lot of positive attributes. Now, we can make some arguments on, like, I've heard some people say, well, if you can't plan a date, you can't lead. I don't agree with that. However, I do agree that it's going to communicate good leadership skills when you can plan it on your own. A lot of women are tired of the, okay, well, what do you want to do? I don't know. Where do you want to go? Like, you're asking the woman out on a date, but you have no vision, no plan. Now, I understand some of you guys may be concerned of, well, I'll make plans, and what if she doesn't like it? Listen, the smart thing to do is you create your plan, but you have a plan B, or you have some alternate routes you can take if, let's say, this isn't her cup of tea. So, for example, let's just say you planned a date to the zoo. Just an example, all right? And you find out after you get to the zoo, she is terrified of monkeys, okay, or whatever animals are in that zoo. And now you're like, what am I going to do? This was the date. So in a scenario like that, this is where you want to have alternate routes just in case the first one fails. And in this scenario, this is where you can also invite her opinion of, hey, listen, what would you like? Or you can always take the approach of, my plan is to take you so-and-so, but if you prefer anything different, let me know. So you're still showing her, I am planning, I have a vision, I have everything set up, but I am open to the fact that you may not like that. And if you want to suggest something different, I am flexible. So now you've covered both bases of showing that you can plan and impressing her in that way, but also leaving it open to be flexible and make some adjustments, because you understand that sometimes our taste does not align and she may prefer something different. all right? So planning the date, very, very easy way to impress, again, pretty much any woman, all right? Number 2 is dress well. Now, I know that sounds so obvious, dress well, but let's go a little bit deeper into this, all right? I hear a lot of stories from women of men coming to these dates looking a hot mess, all right? Clearly either getting your homeboy's opinion or your own opinion that does not really know how to dress you up in an effective manner. That's the key here. We got to go on these dates trying to emphasize or trying to bring out our best in the sense of, again, how do we best present ourselves on this first date? Now, like I mentioned in the very beginning, I don't want you being something you're not, but I want you to identify your style and even not a date uniform, so to speak, but understanding that what's a good style for you on dates to use. And so one of the best ways to find that is to ask the opinion of other women. So before you even go on another date, start doing your homework now. Start getting the opinions of friends, family members, whoever that are women. Even if you have social media followers, do a picture where you have you in 3 different outfits and say, hey, pick one, A, B, C. And now you're starting to see how women see you in these different styles and outfits. And now you start to see what is working for you and what's going to be most effective. So this is what I mean by dressing well. It's really about dressing effectively for what's going to work more in your favor on that date. But here's also a key to always remember. Your shoes are important. So a lot of women evaluate men based on their shoes. They're checking them shoes out, and if they look bummy, they look old, that can work against you. So you want to make sure you don't need expensive shoes, but they need to be clean, they need to be nice. And again, this is where you get the opinions of women, because your homeboys might say, man, them shoes are great, those are on point. But that doesn't mean women view it the same way. And you're not going on a date to impress the men, you're going on a date to impress the woman. So find out what other women like, all right? So dress effectively and pay attention to your shoes. Number 3 on the list of easiest ways to impress any woman on a first date is smell good. So simple. Like, yo, this is, again, easy, just this easy. Now, let's put it out there right now. Do not drown yourself in cologne. All right, too many of y'all are going to kill her nose, her sense of smell, because you're coming off too strong. And this is why, again, a lot of these things I'm mentioning are things I want you to get a grasp on before you go on a date. So what I mean by that with the cologne is, if you have a certain cologne, test out how much is too much. Go to a friend. Maybe you spray 3 times and say, okay, how's the smell right now? Now, granted, other people, different people have different senses of smell, and what may come off strongest to one may not come off to another. But you can get an idea of what's too much and what's a nice, good enough amount that the smell is coming off of you and it is having an effective impact on the date and on that woman. So and also, even when it comes to the cologne, again, get the opinions of a woman. Anytime I've purchased cologne in the past, I would get the opinions of a woman and it would work every single time. And when I say it would work, meaning when I wore that cologne, I got compliments on that cologne. I got, attention from that cologne. You want to tap into the mind of a woman if you're trying to be more successful with women. And that's what this whole video is about. How to impress any woman. And I'm going to say something about the whole impress part at the end of this video. So be sure to watch all the way through. But bottom line is, smelling good, always going to work in your favor, but don't drown yourself in it. Get the opinions of other women on what's going to work on your body and what is too much or even not enough cologne to make sure you hit that sweet spot. The number 4 key to impressing any woman, or number 4 easiest way to impressing any woman on the first date, is don't be the one to bring up sex. Listen, women are already on guard. And again, let me throw out there, we're talking about having healthy dating, successful, serious, intentionally minded men trying to make a relationship, a positive, healthy one happen. All right. If you are about just trying to have sex, then clearly this won't apply to you. But if you're about trying to take the situation very seriously, then yes, do not be the one to bring up sex. That can be a huge turnoff to a woman. Even at times where she seems to continue along with the date or not be bothered, it's actually playing in her head like, dang, we just met and this guy's already talking about sex. Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. Now, if she brings it up, that's a completely different ball game, and I will leave it to you to determine if you want to entertain that conversation. But don't be the one to do it. So you want to learn how to have good conversation, but you want to learn how to stay away from the topic of sex, because it's very easy for a lot of men, especially if you as a man don't know how to hold a good conversation. Sex becomes an easy topic to just default to. All right. And again, you may think it's okay because she's showing you a certain vibe, but don't always mistake her even being flirtatious as, oh, she's trying to go there right now. It's the first date. Just focus on getting to know her. Leave the sex talk alone. Again, if she brings it up, that's different. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes that happens, but don't be the one that brings it up. All right. So you want to impress her, don't bring up sex. And now the fifth easiest way to impress any woman. And before I give you that, real quick plug, go get the book, He Who Finds a Wife. I left the link in the description as well as in the comments section. It's the book for men, helping you find the love you desire. It's really helping a lot of men out there. It may surprise you because I think a lot of men, they're not used to relationship advice being given to them in certain ways, but I think you're going to find the book very helpful. So again, click the link in the description and in the comments section and get your copy today. So again, back to number 5, fifth easiest way to impress any woman is be chivalrous. Now, I know people will say chivalry is dead, and some people say it's dead because women killed it. And I'm not even going to argue that right now. I'll leave that for a different video. However, it is still appreciated by a lot of women. And it still helps you stand out. Let me give you a quick story. There was one time, I'll never forget, I went to go speak in, I forgot the island, St. John's or something, all right? Now, this wasn't a date. I went there to go speak, but I was with the organizer. We went out to get something to eat. And while we were walking, she was walking on the side closest to the street, closest to where the cars are coming, and I'm on the inside of the sidewalk. So I politely slid her over to the inside of the sidewalk and put myself on the outside. And it shocked her. And she was like, I've never had a man do that for me. And in my mind, I'm thinking this is just second nature. This is just what it is. I'm not even trying to impress. I'm not trying to do anything. That's just my mannerisms by nature. But I saw how powerful it was as far as what it meant to her to even experience that. And so there's a lot of women who aren't treated with chivalry. There's a lot of women who don't get to see those gestures. And when they do, it is very powerful to them. And even those who see it, they still enjoy it. Now, granted, for any woman watching this video, make sure you show appreciation when a man is chivalrous. All right. Like, say the thank yous, because you won't believe how many women don't even say thank you to an open door or pulling out of the chair and things of that nature. So make sure you show appreciation. But regardless, men, the focus is on you right now, and I want you to implement those things. So stuff like pulling out the chair, opening her door. Again, if we're walking outside, putting her on the inside of the sidewalk, think with a chivalrous mindset. This is very likely going to impress her. All right. And you will see a positive impact from it. So those are some of the easiest ways to impress any woman. But I told you, I want to say something about the word impress. So here's the reality. Like I was speaking the other day on this app, and we were talking about first dates, and they asked the guys, what's your mindset, your approach to a first date? And I did say on there, to be completely transparent, I'm not trying to impress anyone. Now, when I said that, what I mean is, because I'm over here giving you a video on how to impress women, what I meant by that was, I'm not going to go outside of my norm if that's not who I really am. I'm also not going to put a heavy emphasis on, I got to spend a ridiculous amount of money, take you to the fanciest restaurant, or put on this extravagant date, all right, in order to impress you. because I need you to appreciate who I am as a man, and I need to see, do we vibe? Do we have a connection? And it's not about all the hype of the date. So there's nothing wrong, and I would even encourage men to consider that. I don't want you going all out trying to impress her in that way, all right? But I do think that the things I mentioned here today are simple, easy things that you should want to continue. I don't want you setting a standard that you can't keep up. But I do think that the things I mentioned here today are simple, easy things that you should want to continue. You should want to be a man who can smell good for your woman, or in general, period, for yourself. You should be a man who can hold a conversation and not just be controlled by your sexual desires. You should be a man who should be chivalrous. Like I told you in my story, I was chivalrous not on a date. I was chivalrous in general. I would want you to implement those things in your everyday life, regardless of who you with, and all the other things I mentioned. So I want you to understand that difference between trying to put on a show for a woman versus trying to embrace and implement very powerful, very healthy practices that are going to be good, not just for the date, but for you in general in life. Hey, thank you for watching this video. Be sure to check this one out right here, and I'll see you there. We'll increase our chances of getting who we desire or who is best for us, because that should be the real goal. However, you have to locate or understand the difference between enhancing yourself and being something you're not.